So Romo Wind, we can offer the industry more transparency on performance. So for the first time, we can make it possible for the industry to directly compare performance of turbines to each other. That's of course the basis for asset management and for reducing LCOE over time. In total we've done over 800 installations of iSpin, of over 70 of them in France. For reasons not clear to us, we found a very high instances of yaw misalignment in France. Over 80% of the turbines we measured on have had significant yaw misalignment, to the extent that the improvement on these 80% is around 3% of AEP, which of course is a lot of money, and it also it makes much more loads on the turbines, which affects lifetime. So each iSpin sensor produces around 130 megabytes of data a day. With over 800 installations, that means around 100 gigabytes per day. Yeah, that's not a lot compared to what a wind turbine is producing, but of course this is only from one sensor. So if you think about what all the sensors of a turbine produces, it becomes enormous. We collect our data into our own server. The data are timestamped so that we can synchronize them with all the other data sets from turbines, met masts and others, so that we and operators can analyze iSpin data together with other relevant data offline. On balance, digitalization is creating more transparency in the industry. Though the issue is that it's a selective increase in transparency. It's those with access to data that are best placed to obtain the transparency, and that brings into light the importance of who owns and who have access to data. That remains a point of tension in the industry. I think what we see as a trend is that the operators start to get more and more access to the data a wind turbine produces, but the data are still not shared within the industry so that the industry as a whole can benefit. Part of the challenge here is that although data can be easily shared anonymized, we don't have the culture in the industry to share data. So the challenge we have is more cultural than technical. We as an industry need to help ourselves to reap the benefits of digitalization. I think it's clear that cyber attack will be an increasing issue for the industry. I know there's a lot of work going on to help us protect ourselves against cyber attacks, but it's probably an issue that hasn't got the attention it deserves. What we can do to better protect ourselves against cyber attacks is of course very difficult to answer, because any protection system has to cover the whole value chain, and with increased digitalization there's more and more players that needs to be covered in the value chain. I'm not an expert on this, but I think the OEMs are the ones that need to take the leadership here. Obviously companies like Siemens, Gamesa and GE have so much experience from other sectors that they can bring to the wind industry, so they are best placed to take the lead on this and guide the industry towards higher and better standards.